So let's get right to it, Johnny. Let's start with St. Magnus. And here we go. Can we, is that, let me see if I can make my screen bigger. Hang on just a second here. So, there we go. We got the 10 teams here. So anything jump out at you right off the start here, Craig?
So I am looking for how many purple. Do you know? I love with this lot that there aren't a lot of purples. I love not having a lot of purples there. And yeah, no. Well, I see there's one team I've went through, and you know I always hark back to the don't. You know the benches are such important positions for me. You know it's important to have a good bench. You're going to pick up injuries through the season, and just loading up your bench of quarterbacks makes no sense to me. So I'm looking straight to Leicester Tigers here and saying Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, and Will Levis. What happens if Will Levis is what the Tennessee Titans think he is? What happens if he's hitting bombs week in, week out? What quarterback are you starting there on a weekly basis?
Well, I'm just looking here. We spoke about it a bit earlier. And Everett, I'll give you a chance to also have it been here. But if you look at Leeds, he's got Anthony Richardson on his bye week. Or if Richardson gets hurt, who's he got? You look at Whitworth Rock Stars. If Burrow gets hurt, who's he got on bye week? I agree with you. Perhaps don't need three quarterbacks, but you could possibly prevent two teams from having quarterbacks. That could be a strategic advantage. Everett, what are your thoughts about that?
Me, like, so I'll use last year for example. I had three because I knew I was picking Deshaun Watson. I just didn't know. I knew he was coming back from an injury, and then he ends up getting hurt again, right? So that. But then I see getting him. You should have at least two. I'm a fan of two. Like this year, I drafted two, just for that, not just for bye week, but if someone gets hurt, especially depending which quarterback you draft. Like someone who's normally healthy year round, like Lamar Jackson, I wouldn't really. Yeah, I would stream a quarterback to cover his bye week. It
Okay.
just depends who. I think it just depends who you draft and how you're drafting with the pieces you put around them.
Okay.
I
Well, I don't want to
definitely
get
hear
bogged
that.
down in
I mean, I
listen.
understand if you take a guy, if you take a quarterback who is injury prone or you're not too sure on a Deshaun Watson, who if he's anything like he was at the Texans, then he's going to be a superstar. But if he's anything like he's been at the Browns, then he's going to be an absolute flop. Then you draft a second one. I understand getting a second one there. With Anthony Richardson and Leeds Lassos there, I'd maybe have a second one because we don't know, it could get hurt again and we don't know. With Jackson K only taking Joe Burrow, completely understand that. Yes, he could get hurt, but if he gets hurt, you go to agency. Bryce Young's not been drafted. Bryce Young will score okay this year. He won't knock out the park, but he'll score
Right.
okay. You're not going to play anyone over Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is a solid quarterback, number one quarterback, who will score you a lot of fantasy points. So you don't need a second one, and you just go to agency for his bye week. That's my scenario behind it.
So, Craig, now I don't know about the defensive players on this team, but one team jumped out at me right off the bat. And I like what he did getting Kyle Pitts and then Hawkinson to come in case he, as his backup. Hawkinson, wow, a nice midseason, boost to the team. He's got Amon, he's got Saquon. He waited until what, the 10th round to get Tua? Are you kidding me? And Kirk Cousins. What do
Yes.
you think, Craig?
Yeah,
Is the IDP sticking with the offensive guys here?
yeah, I like it. I do like that. I like my worry there with Seattle Patriots. I'm just it's a bit light at running back. I just for me personally, Barkley and Etienne absolutely fantastic, and David Montgomery will do fine this year in my opinion. I think he's a very good draft pick. But what have you got after that? If one of them goes down, Jalen Wright's a dart throw at best. If A-Chain
He's a
stays
dark
fit
horse
and
rookie of the
Mostert
year,
stays fit,
man.
so I do like that team, and I like Lad McConaughey and Keon Coleman. I think they are the two rookie wide receivers who, I've got a very good chance of becoming wide receiver ones this year for their teams. I get that Harrison's going to be a WR1 and so is Neighbours, but these two have got very good chances of being wide receiver ones for their teams. So I like that, and both have got very good quarterbacks thrown at them as well. Pickens and Higgins, very good picks. Amon-Ra, yep, no issue with him going in the first round. So yeah, it's a very good team. My worry there would be running back and depth in running back.
Everett, what do you think here, buddy? Do you have any thoughts on a particular team? Does one stand out for you?
The one I'm leading to. I picked them last week when I was on the show with Craig and Johnny. Leeds Lassos. I like the team they put together. I'm a wide receiver hoarder, right?
Hmm.
So he has Brees Hall, A Chain, and then as far as their running backs, and then you got Harrison, Waddle, Debo, Rashee Rice, and I'm telling you, one of my buddies is a Jags fan, and I've been watching a lot of film and highlights on this guy. Brian Thomas will be the wide receiver one in Jacksonville. He will be. I promise you, if all the way it's going, he'd be say. I think he'd probably be second to Marvin Harrison as far as rookie production.
Well,
I
that's
like
hey,
that he's
Blair
given himself
Thomas,
a
heard
lot
it
of running
here,
back
wide receiver
options
one,
down the bottom.
Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, that's a big one. I like that. Putting down some bold predictions here. So the one team I don't particularly care for too much is the EK Colts. CJ Stroud, a quarterback in the first round. His number one wide receiver, which could be, having a breakout, but Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith as he's number. I'm just not feeling the team here. I do like Brock Purdy later in the rounds as a nice, solid backup. But is there any team that you're not feeling, Everett?
Um, that's Oh man, I mean, he has some decent picks like EK Colts. That'd be one. But what scares me is like when you take. I can see taking a Josh Allen or Mahomes in the first round, but CJ Stroud you can get in like the third.
Mm.
That in most leagues, right? Because you take if you at where he drafted at, you missing out. Like he could have had AJ Brown or Jameer Gibbs
Yeah.
instead of you know what I'm saying instead of and he because you're still gonna get Wilson in the second round the way that went, or he
Mm.
could have the way it's looking he could have had Jonathan Taylor.
Mm.
There's no way I'm taking Stroud over Taylor in the format our league is. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I can't.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
nice the Tigers for me here, and it's not for any other. Three quarterbacks is three quarterbacks. That's fine. But what worries me here is the bench. What have you got coming off the bench? Because Singletary's a starter in this team. The way it's been drafted. Singletary's a starter. Hollywood Brown's injured. He's out. So who are you bringing in? Are you bringing in Josh Downs? Well, he's out. Are you bringing in Kendry Miller? Pork, talk to me
Uh,
about Kendry Miller. You got
hey,
Elijah Mitchell.
Kendra Miller.
And
He's my
who's
guy.
replacing Hollywood Brown in this? So that starting lineup already has a player who is not a starting player, and that's what scares me about three quarterbacks and such. It just throws me
All
completely.
right. So I will say that the EK Colts does look like they have some solid
I think Leicester
IDP
Tigers
players
is in for
there, but I still
a
don't
long
like the
hard
overall
season.
makeup. I will go first in this league here, if you don't mind. I am going to go with my buddy, Seven Rings, the Seattle Patriots, to win this division. Craig, I will let you go second this time. Who do you have?
Well, I'm going to stick with what I said last week, and I'm going with Carlton Crew here. And the reason I'm going with Carlton Crew is because I love that they've hoarded the tight ends and can play them, and there's extra points for the tight ends. And I think that the bench, if you look at the bench, it's very good. Elliott can play, McLaughlin might be fitting in there, Keaton Mitchell back end of the season. I think that it's a strong bench, and therefore has options to start, and therefore is my favourite team.
Which team was that?
Carlton Crew.
Okay, great.
And column
And
H.
Everett, the Carlton Crew. Okay, and Everett, which team do you have in this division?
All right, so last week I picked Leeds Lassos. I kind of like the structure, but I'm gonna tell you another good team on here that I wouldn't be shocked if they the Dublin Everton Blues, man,
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek Hill, Derrick Henry, Pittman, DJ Moore. How did you guys let them get all these guys? And then Ramondre Stevenson, like the Brian Robin, he got a nice core there. So that'd be like my 1A 1B. But I like
Excellent. I love
if
it.
I had to if I was picking, I stick with the Leeds last shows. Cause I like the structure of that.
I can't wait
But
for our mid-season review so we can review on these teams. I love it. I love it.